Today we're going to talk about rounding things, and before we really get into the math side of it, take a look at this, the gas prices on the sign. What do you notice about the gas price? What if I wanted to fill up on gas, how much is it going to cost me per gallon, David? I don't use diesel because I don't have a semi-truck. I just have a sweet Toyota Sienna that uses regular unleaded. How much is it going to cost me? $2.68. Wait a second, that's not all the numbers up there. Have you ever noticed there's some extra numbers up there? Where are them? I got a little 9 hanging out here in the corner. You know what that really means? What is it?
Like squared or something?
No, if you saw it, if this was like mathematical terms and you saw a little number up there that's an exponent, it's meaning I'm multiplying it again. That's not what it means in this case. It means, here we've got dollars and dimes and pennies. This really means if we could take a penny and cut it up into 9 pieces, it would cost you an extra 9/10 of a penny. Okay? So really, if I get exactly 1 gallon of gas, do you know how much it's going to charge me? It's not going to be $2.68. It's going to take it up, because I've got a bunch of extra parts of another penny, it's going to take it up to the next penny, the next cent. So it's going to charge me $2.69. Now, is that overcharging me? Yeah, a little bit, but I'm close. If I get just 1 gallon, I'm closer to $2.69 than I am to $2.68. Make sense? And that's what we're really doing today. We're taking a look at decimal numbers. Some of them have like 3 digits, or 4 digits, or 5 digits, and we're saying let's round that in a certain way, okay? So if I was looking at, again, dollars and dimes and pennies, and I don't charge you more, a penny and, oh, give me another ½ cent, right? We don't have a ½ cent piece or a fractional piece. I have to round to the nearest penny. So if I have, let's say I go to the gas station and my gas bill is 6.6666, I don't have, I've got dollars, I've got dimes, I've got pennies, but we don't have these 2 types of small measurements with coins, do we? So we have to round to the nearest penny. All we're really looking to do is say, do I keep this as a 6, or do I bump it up to a 7? 7 pennies, 7 cents. And the only reason, I don't even care about this guy, I'm just looking at the very next one over to say, what is that? Is it more than halfway to the next penny, or is it less than halfway? In this case, Sam? More. So we would actually bump this up to $6, 6 dimes, and now 7 pennies. So $6.67. Yeah.
Even if it's less than halfway, you would have to bump it up if you're going to be paying for it?
No. They would still round down the same way we do in mathematics. Are you done with everything on that list? I don't think so. Do some on Excel. All right, next one. I've got 46 cents and then some extra pieces. So again, this is really my pennies, my cents. So I'm looking at the next one over to tell me, do I bump it up another penny or not? David, what do I do in this case?
You would bump it up.
You say I would or would not?
Wouldn't.
Would not, okay. So I keep my 4 dimes, I keep my 6 pennies because that's not enough to say I should owe another cent, another penny. Go ahead, Claire. Okay, try the last one on your own. Write that down on a piece of paper, please. What do I round this to if I'm going to the nearest cent? 0.08333. So here's, you gotta find, I got dollars, dimes, here's my cents. And I look at the next one over and say, well, this guy is not large enough to bump it up, so I'm just keeping it at 8 cents. How many of you got that one right? Any questions with it? We're good? All right, let's take a look at a few more. This time we're gonna round not to the nearest cent, but the nearest tenth. if you're thinking in terms of dollars, and I know I don't have, this isn't money, so I don't have a dollar sign, but a tenth would be like a dime, right? Okay, so if I look at this, this is my whole numbers, this right here is my tenths. That's what I'm trying to round to. I don't want any numbers after that. So again, I look at the next one over to say, is this large enough to bump that up to the next number? It's not. It's not even halfway. So if I was to round this, I would round it to 0.1. Questions with that? All right, do the next two. Write down 12.345, rounded to the nearest tenth, and 2.375, rounded to the nearest tenth. Any glasses? You're squinting. You should be able to see that without too much problem. Even through that. What do we get here? Sam? 12.3. So we're looking at this, and the 4 next to it is not big enough to bump it up. I agree with you. Last one, Braylon? Well, which number is in the tenths digit right now? 2.375. That's my tenths right now, right? So my answer is either going to be 2.3, or if this next number over is large enough to be another tenth, or almost another tenth, then I'll bump it up to 2.4. Do I keep it as 2.3, or is that more than halfway to the next tenth? Yeah, so I'm going to bump it up to 2.4. We good? All right. Here we're going to the nearest whole number, or whole dollar. Okay, so that is the digit right in front of the decimal point. Here I've got 16 whole dollars and then an extra 75 cents, if you want to think about it in terms of money. We don't do this any differently. Okay, if that's the digit that we're looking for, we go to the next one over and say, is that enough that it's more than halfway where it's almost a whole nother dollar or a whole nother whole thing? In this case, we would say, yeah, that is more than halfway. So I would call it 17. Good? Try the same thing with 4.875 and $73.29. Stand up when you're done with both of them. Abby, what'd you get for 4.875?
I got 5.
You rounded up to 5? That's my whole number, and I'm looking at the next one over. You're right, that's large enough to say I should really have a whole, it's close to a whole nother number. David, what'd you get for 73.29? $73, right? If we're looking here, that's not enough part of a dollar to say we should, it's close to another whole dollar. Good? Oh yeah, take a seat. All right, so one last problem here. Yeah, we'll finish this one. If the sales tax rate is 6%, which I don't remember what it is here in Ohio. I'm new here. You know what it is? Like if you go buy something at Walmart for $100, it's going to cost you more than $100, right? Do you know what it is? Is it 7%? I thought it was less than that. I don't know. Let's pretend it's 6% in Ohio. I think it's somewhere around there. How much sales tax is there on $3.79 purchase? Now this is a different type of problem, isn't it? Okay? If the sales tax rate is 6%, this has nothing to do with rounding. What we're really doing is we're multiplying. We're saying, well, I got something that's $3.79, and I want to know what 6% of it is. Okay, so we're switching gears here in terms of what we're doing. How do I do that? Sam? Yeah, can you give me before you start the multiplication algorithm, can you give me an estimate of what this might be? So, I mean, if we come up with something that's $49, that's not right. What's a close approximation? And how would you get there, Jenna? $2 too high or too low? So it's gonna be more than $2? 6% is just a small part of $3.79. What do you think, Sam? Here's how I would do it. I look at $3.79. If I wanted to take 10% of that, I would move the decimal over, right? So 37 cents would be about 10%. This is gonna be even almost half, or a little more than half of that. So what's half of 37 cents? Somewhere around 20, right? So I should have something that's about 20 cents, pretty close to it, as my 6% sales tax. Let's go through the algorithm to get there. I do 6 times 9, which is 54. I do 6 times 7, 42. Plus 5 more is going to be 47. I do 6 times 3, which is 18. Plus 4 more is 22. 2,274. I think that's a little high, isn't it? Except for I didn't do any of my decimals. Here I've got 1, 2 place values behind the decimal. Here I've got 1, 2 place values behind the decimal. That's total 4. So I do the same thing here. 1, 2, 3, 4. My decimal goes there. 0.2274. How many cents is that? Because I've got too many places. If I'm rounding it to my nearest cent, is it 22 cents or do I bump it up to 23 cents? Jenna? 23, because of this 7, right? So 23 cents is my sales tax on that. Kind of mixed what we had learned with, what we had previously learned with the multiplication algorithm. Okay? We got a little bit of practice with that. Google Classroom. We're doing lesson 51. We're kind of like the other group. I'm splitting it up. We're going to do numbers 4 through 14. And then we're going to jump towards the end, 27, 26, and 27. 25, 26, and 27. And you guys have some time to get started on that now.